is going live now.
Okay, so we'll get started. Today we're just going to be finishing up our snow globe painting, the watercolor painting. Um, this is the reference that we have. We're using a lot of purples, and last time I showed you how to get purple. If you do not have purple in your palette, you can mix red and blue, and depending on how much blue and red that you mix together, it'll make a different shade of purple, different hues. And considering that we have an hour and 30 minutes to paint, if we do end up finishing earlier than the end of our class, what we will do is start one last art project. Because the last day for class is August 11th, and then it starts again in September. So what I'll get you to do is to grab your paints, grab your paint brushes, and grab a little bit of water and a tissue to clean your brushes. So I'll give you a second to grab your materials and grab your painting. All right. So where we ended up was we painted the lavender, and well, not completely all of it. We haven't filled in the flowers. And what we did was paint the bottom of where the um, windmill sits, and we painted the bows, but we still have a long way to go. We still need to paint the fence, and we also need to paint the windmill itself. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. So what we will be doing is grabbing a clean paintbrush, making sure it's clean, and dipping it into some water. Okay. And I will be reaching for this purpley shade. So where I'm using this is on the top of our windmill, the roof, and I'm just filling it in. Now, your painting would have no pencils and it would be very light. But for me, in order for it to show up on camera, I still have all my pencil filled in and not erased.
Hello, teacher. I want to ask the painting, how many color can fix the paint? I don't have the paint color.
Oh, you don't have this color? I
Yeah,
can show you how to make it.
how many colors you make together? Which color?
So to get that, what you will need, let me just bring it up. Let me grab a clean brush. You'll grab red if it shows up. You'll grab red. And then the tiniest bit of blue.
Okay.
And although it's not perfect,
Okay, thank you.
It's kind of close to, let me compare them side by side. They're kind of similar, but this one is way more washed out. So again, blue and red make purple, and these were the purples that we made last time, and they all look different than each other because this one we added a lot more blue, this one we added a lot more red, and then this one was a 50-50 split. This one you can see that it wasn't fully mixed. So again, to make the purples, you kind of have to play around with how much reds and blues you add.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I do believe that we will be able to finish this snow globe painting because it's pretty simple. We did all the hard work at the beginning of the first section. So that way we can jump into our second project. But I will give you some time before we jump into that. But first, finishing what we have here. Okay. Next, I will fill in these squares for our windmill. And for that, I'll use a dark purple. So since we're just coloring in what we drew, it would be pretty straightforward and basic. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Otherwise, this is what we're going to be doing for, I believe, the next 20 minutes or so before we jump into the next project that will take up this class and the next one. I should have also mentioned that if you want to use different colors, you're more than welcome to use them. But I'm just trying to replicate this snow globe, so I'm staying with the purple themes. But if you feel like purple isn't just your color, maybe you would like an all blue snow globe, maybe all green, or red and orange, whichever combination you want, you're more than welcome to. Considering that the hard part was really just drawing the globe on our paper. Um, so regardless of what colors you choose, we will also have the same globe. also forgot to mention that if you have any um, pencil colors, you can also use these as well if you feel like you just want to color not using watercolor. You're more than welcome to also use the pencil crayons as well, just as long as you're coloring and following along. So on camera, these two colors look the exact same, but they're not. I just wanted to point that out. They are different colors, but this one is lighter than this one, but regardless, I just thought I should point that out. I also want to show you how to use these as watercolors. So if you just take your water, let me just move it over here. If you take your water and just hold your pencil in it, you'll see that it kind of lost its sharpness. And once you put it on the paper, see how it melts into the paper? And you can even use a brush to smudge it out. For the flowers on um, the lavender part over here, what we're going to be doing is just dotting randomly. So just randomly taking our purple paint very lightly and placing random dots. And then for the glass globe part, what I'm going to be doing is using the lightest shade of blue as possible, meaning I'm going to use a lot of water to wash out my color, just so I can give that glass a more 3D effect. I'm going to use more water. It doesn't pick up on camera, but it is noticeable in person. So up next, what we have is the fence. Um, it has a wood pattern on there. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. So you can see how there's a wood grain on there. So how the texture of the wood is. We can add it to our fence, and I'll show you how to do so. but I'll just give you a second to catch up with the coloring. All right, so for the wood pattern, also I have tried to erase as much of the pencil marks that I have left to kind of clean it up as we're trying to finish up the piece slowly with just 1 hour left. So for the wood markings on the fence, I'll show you how to do them. If you have um, a black or a gray or even a white paint, that would be good. But if you don't, you can just use a pencil and use water to kind of smudge it out to give depth to the fence. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll just use this one right here. I'm just putting water. My brush is clean. I'm just putting some water down. And then I'm taking my pencil and then trying to recreate if it shows up on camera. Trying to create these types of patterns. But while the paper is still wet. One second. It doesn't really show up on camera. So what I'm doing is just creating ovals and rings of ovals as the paper is still wet. I'll even take a clean brush and then go over the spot as it dries again. And continue with the wood grain drawing. But very, very lightly. I will just repeat that process for all the other fences. Fence posts, give me 1 second. So I haven't added water to these ones because I want you guys to see what the pattern is, how it would look like on the fence, and then I'll add water. That way it can be smudged out. But hopefully it can be picked up on camera and can be a clear example of what the wood pattern I'm looking for. All right, I'll give you a couple of seconds to recreate this and then I'll show you how to smudge it out with some water so that way it doesn't look so harsh um, with the pencil being on the white paper. All right, so here's what I will do is I will grab a clean brush dipped in water, just making sure it's clean, it has no color on it, just so we can keep that white fence. Okay, dipped in water and just simply going over our pencil. And trying to smudge it out. So all I'm doing is just pressing down with a clean brush, trying to wipe it away. And I will repeat the process. I'll repeat that step for all the other ones. Lastly, what we will do is clean up these windmill blades because right now they just have, the pencil markings. What we will do is outline them with the lightest shade of purple. So really we're going to be using more water than color. So again, with a clean brush, dip your paint into some purple. And then lightly outline your blade. Also, if you want to erase the pencil markings, let me grab an eraser first. Although I don't have the straightest or the cleanest lines, like for example, these two look very different, that's okay. It gives it some charm and it kind of looks like it belongs on a um, card of some kind that you would give to somebody. So it's very personal, and it has some charm to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, the art that we're doing is really to have some fun and to expand our skills. Other than that, I would say that this windmill is done and that we should be ready to move on to the second project, the last project before we take a break, because the last day is August 11th. So I'll give you some time to finish up your snow globes, and then I'll get the reference image for our second art project pulled up. So I'll give you some 5 minutes to get your snow globe complete. All right, so we're basically done with our snow globe. And I would like to see how far you guys got on your snow globes. So if you have finished it, I would just like to see it. Oh, Christina, I love it. Oh my goodness. It's really good. Love it so much. Anybody else have their snow globes?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Great job, you guys.
Did you see mine?
Let's see. Yeah, I can see yours. Yeah, okay. And I see your tree as well. Okay. Lovely.
This one.
Arlene, Ali, Rebecca. Okay, okay. Love it.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll get started on another watercolor project that we can carry on to our next class. So if you guys have some paper and need to clean up your brushes, by all means, get to this right now and I'll flash up the reference image in 1 second. All right, this is the image that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a simple watercolor koi and with a blue water background. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to take a picture and screenshot the image. All right, so what we were going to be doing is creating the watercolor koi fish, but first we're going to have to draw it, and it should be very simple. Um, Again, using our geometric way of drawing. So I'll show you first, also in terms of proportion. So my page, I'm gonna show this again. So it should roughly be, actually, let me switch the camera angle. Hopefully this is better. So it's going to take, like the fish is going to take almost all of the page. It's not going to be tiny, but it's not going to be too big where it comes off of the page. I want it to be the center of the page. So what I will do is I will start with an oval. Again, very light-handed with my pencil. Not sure if that is picking up on camera. But again, this oval shape. I'll give you a couple of seconds to create that oval shape. All right. Then what we're going to be doing is creating, give me 1 second, let me take this out of the is we are going to be creating a triangle, but it follows the shape of the oval. Again, not sure if it's picking up on camera. And with roughly 30 minutes, I'm more than confident that we can draw this and then get to painting in our last class, which is on the 11th. So don't worry in terms of time, we do have the time to finish this drawing. 1 second, let's see. All right. So again, I'm going to be cleaning up as we're working along. I'm going to grab an eraser. And then what we're going to be doing is we are going to create the tail. So for that one, just give me 1 second. I'll draw first, then explain. So I just drew 2 curvy lines going upwards. I might have to reposition my fish because I feel like it's too much at the top and not enough at the bottom. But, oh, let the camera focus first. And then I'll thicken up the head. And then to add the eyes, I'm creating 2 brackets. So this is how it would be. So again, my triangle, you can see where I first placed it, and then I drew on top of it, and I added two curves to mimic the eyes. And then I'm drawing a bit heavy with my hand, just so it can be picked up on camera, but I recommend that you draw very lightly so that way it can be easily erased from the watercolor paper, and that way it doesn't smudge on the paper. And then just above the eyes, what I will do is add two of its whiskers, its fish whiskers. Then up next, what I will do is right below the eyes, I will add its fins, its main fins. And for that, what I'll demonstrate first. I will be adding two triangles. They don't have to be perfect and linear because we will be adding the curve of the fins first, but just making sure that they're proportional to the body. So because it's a big fish, we're not gonna have tiny fins. We're gonna have big ones that kind of match the body. All right, and now what I did to one side, I'll have to do to the other. All right, so this is how our fish looks so far. And I'm just erasing as I go. So the fish has a big body, and then it's supposed to thin out towards the tail. So that is something I will fix in a couple of minutes, but I'll just give you some time to kind of play around with the proportions of the fish. And, if you want to place the eyes higher or lower, bigger or smaller, and I'll give some time for the camera to focus as well. Next, what we're going to do is add the third fin, and then the tail fins. But first, we're going to have to fix up the body, make it a bit slimmer. And that would just require kind of just playing around on basically the placement of where you want that tail to start curving. So I'm just fixing up the tail. Let me thin out the top as well. So it should look something a little bit like this. I'm thinking of maybe slimming down my fish again. So I can maybe like that. All right. Then what we're gonna do is roughly from almost in between the two fins, just marking the spot where the huge fin that runs down the back is going to start and then end towards the tail. So from there, we're just going to draw a very thin line that curves with the body. So it should look something like this. So the fish is not complete, but we do have 20 minutes left. So by then we should be, close to the finish of this fish, and then we'll pick up with the painting on August 11th. Let's see with So from there, what I'll do is add another triangle for the third fin. And this one will just be small. My fish is looking a little bit plump, so I'm gonna thin her down again. All right, let the camera focus. All right, then I'll actually fix up this fin before I start on the tail fin. Just give me 1 second. All right. Here is how we draw the fins to make them look less like triangles. Right? Just rounding out the corners. The fins are very soft and delicate, so there should be minimal sharp lines. They should be flowy. All right, and with just 13 minutes remaining, I'll show you how to draw the last fin for the tail. So for this one, what it is basically a free-flowing pattern. Just waves. And my fins would come off the page. I drew my fish too big. That's fine. I can always just reposition the tail to maybe come more to the bottom and then swing up, but I'm fine with the way it's looking. And these fins are very big. So they're just a flowy pattern. I'll zoom up. I'll let the camera focus again. And this would be basically the end of the drawing portion of the fish. And then we can get started on painting next class. We do have 10 minutes. So again, I'll be here to continue with the drawing of the fish. But this is pretty much it. All of it rests on the painting for next class. I will add a lip to our fish.
Thank you. I love your fingernails.
Thank you. Yep, those are the last 10 minutes. So if you guys have any questions or any suggestions for future classes, I'm more than happy to take them.
We will paint by watercolor.
Yeah, so we will do the watercolor on August 11th, so our next class.
Yes, in this fish.
Yes, with this fish.
Good job.
And then if you guys have any other things that you want to do, if you want to go back to pencil drawings or if you want to go back to something else, I'm more than happy to take any suggestions. But yeah, August 11th is the last class, and then I believe it starts again in September.
I think it's time to acrylic.
Acrylic, yep, I'll write that down.
After watercolor.
All right. Anything else? Do you guys want to still do animals?
Yeah,
Any, okay.
horse. Oh, with that horse. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty much it. So for the last 8 minutes, you're free to go if you want to continue with the drawings. So that way you can be caught up for when we paint. I'll just leave this up so you guys can continue drawing your fish. But other than that, we're done for today. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. You're welcome.
Can you show me the original picture?
Yes.
Thank you. Đấy. Thank you.
Thank you.
给那鱼再停一会儿呗。